There, in Akwa Ibom right now, there are some, commentators who have been very, very frequent talking about issues that affect, business, oil and gas, sometimes the economy as well. One of such people is our guest today, whom many of you, when we're reading the paper reviews, you hear from him. And when you tune in the radio, you hear from him. He's almost everywhere that anywhere you turn to, you must be here. You must hear what he says, or you read what he writes, or he says rather. He is right here with us. He is many things: a renowned analyst, an industry expert. He brings insights into how politics, policy decisions, and market forces interact to shape what Nigerians, and Akwa Ibomites will pay at the pump. But, for purposes of this interview, we really need to get to know him. He's an oil and gas expert, right? But we need to know him as well, so that we start from there and then we branch into his specialty and his field as well. Many of you know him already, so we'll just go straight to it. Let's welcome Dr. Wisdom Enang to the program. How you doing? Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good pleasure to be here.
All right, it's great to have you around. So the Wisdom Enang. Finally here, flesh and blood.
Thank you.
Your first time in Comfort FM?
Oh, no.
You've been here a number of times.
Different program, yeah.
Okay, great. So, great to have you, here. So, let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the basics. Who is Wisdom Enang?
Actually, I'm someone who loves to advocate for, just changing the narrative, looking at things from a different perspective. The person that I am today was actually not midwifed out of intentionality. It was actually something that I came across just trying to, heal from after my mom died. It was 2021 when my mom passed. And my dad was just was over 76 at the time.
Okay.
And he looked at me and said, "Look, my health can hold on very long, and your mom is gone, and I don't think I have any excitement about life anymore. So I'll just help bury her, and then whatever happens after that, you can take over and carry on." So I needed one way to make my dad stay alive for me. At that age, with a lot of comorbidities or medical conditions, money wouldn't do it.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing would change the outcomes.
All right. Money was not a problem. It is not a problem. Okay.
It wasn't required at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, because everything was under control.
All right.
But then I did something on the radio, a program that I was invited, and I spoke. And then he picked up a radio. And he listened. He didn't know I was going to be on the program.
Okay.
It was listening. Yeah, he just said, we, have a guest, Dr. Wisdom Enang, and then he listened. And then he listened to the program. He was excited, hearing me on radio and all the things I was looking at and talking about. And then after that, two of his friends called him and said, "Hey, we heard your son and he's talking very well, much different from what we've been hearing around. What's the, we like that." He then called me and said, "I tell you what, I want to live longer."
Wow.
Because I want to see the person you're going to become. There's more to this.
What year was this again?
This was 2021.
2021.
And so my dad, that altered everything against the odds of hypertension, against the odds of diabetes and all of that. He fought hard and stayed alive until he passed eventually in August 2024.
Wow.
So,
okay.
So the inspiration that of who you know as Dr. Wisdom Enang today was created out of the love to make sure that my dad stayed alive for me.
Wow.
And so why people think, oh, he's showing off, I was trying to keep someone alive.
Wow. So that's why you were everywhere.
I was everywhere because I was immortalizing his name whilst alive. And that is exactly what he wanted.
What a strategy.
So that built up. But you see, there's an adage in my dialect, they say, it means, if you do something good for somebody, invariably you're doing it for yourself.
Doing it for yourself.
What started out like I was doing it for my dad has now given me a very clear niche or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
In today's, scheme of things. And then it's given me a personal branch, but it was birthed from love. And even if you go back to time, I was in the UK. And when I had a PhD in the UK, I was asked, in fact, I was offered, that time they were building the automotive test centers in the university, and they wanted people to work there. So I was given money and visas and even extra money to agree.
Wow.
But then
you turned it down.
I turned it down. And then the man asked me, he said, what happened? And I remembered the words of my mother. She said, look, I'm doing comfortable. I may not need your money. I've worked hard enough to have mine. All I need is a son to always turn to, and not just one to have on call, and a son that will be around me and then let me to rest when I eventually go.
Wow.
And when the man turned to me, he said, look, why are you not accepting the offer? I said, I need to go be for my parents and stay there with them and take care of them in their old age until they go.
Wow, that's so sweet.
But that is exactly what brought me closer to home. Had I not come back, I wouldn't have added value.
How long were you away for?
I was away for about 10 years because I was, I was doing my first degree, master's and PhD program in a stretch. And, that was what brought me back home. But then I had consultancies that take me in and out.
Okay.
But what is important is that the life that I live and everything I represent has always been broadly underpinned by key factors like relationship, like love and care for other people. And I have never looked at what I will get at the end of the day.
Never.
And that is exactly what
But not in business, right?
No.
That's different.
What we do in business, I try to make sure there's an exchange of value, clearly defined.
Okay.
But when I say never in this context, that has been the background. And so let me superimpose all of those contexts in politics.
Okay.
And what I do.
All right.
When people say, oh, what is he after? Why is he supporting? Look, I've done a lot of things for free and I didn't need anything because I followed the conviction. When I came back, my mom said, look, I think you, now that, because she was about passing, she said, now I'm about to pass. Why don't you go back to the UK? I said, look.
Your mom knew she was going to pass?
Oh, yeah. She was clearly aware.
Oh.
And then I told her, no, I'm not going to go back because I can't take my dad there. His health wouldn't take him in the cold regions. I will stay with him and I'll remain there for him until the day of his passing. So everything I've done, right, has always been driven by giving back, because I believe in the principle that when I give back, God is going to refill that for me. But why I'm saying all of this is to lay the context for why I do what I do.
What you do. All right.
Giving back to the system has nothing to do with what I get. Whatever happens to me should be on the basis of the value I present, not based on the pity for what I do, because I give back and that's me doing it because of what I believe.
But people wouldn't know that. It would take the explaining that you've done now for us to know that you're not looking for anything. Because when we see you all over the news, it looks like you're looking for something.
No. It's something that has started way, way, way back. It's something, but let me say something, right? Every time I give back to whether it was my parents or the society, God had a way of giving it back to me. It was a simple, so people do not understand that principle of life. Maybe because they haven't experienced it, but I have experienced it where you give back and it has a way of paving ways for you and allowing you to also have a bigger platform to still give back.
Okay. So it's the principle of Dr. Wisdom Enang.
Absolutely.
Or it's just a general life principle, right?
Well, I think it's, I have operationalized what would be maybe a textbook principle, and it has worked for me. One key component that has made it work is patience. A lot of people just want to, get it real away.
Quick.
Right? But there's something that has shaped my patience, and I'm really glad that you started out by understanding me, because it was Paul the Apostle who said, that I may know him and the fellowship of his suffering, be made conformable unto his death.
That's right.
He wanted to know Jesus beyond the miracle making. I mean, Jesus, he wanted to know him up to the destiny that he had to die and understand and accept that bit, and also let a part of him die alongside with Jesus.
That's right.
Now, it is important that you have asked, to get to know me.
Yes.
The way and the philosophy that I work on is, look, you have to be, whatever you have to give, be in the place of authority would have to be on the basis of value. But there are two components that I learned when I was doing my PhD. When I did my PhD, and I reached the point where I did enough research that I could write up and submit my thesis, my mom was on my neck saying, you're struggling every day, and I feel you should be in a position where you can submit this and then move on with your life.
Okay.
But then I spoke to my supervisor. He said, Wisdom, there are two things you need to know. The first is it's about the process and about the product. The process is the discipline. The process is the vision. The process is the tenacity.
Okay.
The process is the stubbornness you build while achieving your goal.
All right.
But the product is the PhD.
Okay.
And he said the process was always going to be more important in life.
Very fundamental.
The process is what has led me. I'm not interested in the product. It will come and it will go. But what is important is who I become in the process of doing what I do passionately.
All right. Okay. I definitely have, been able to assimilate that. And I now know that Dr. Winston Enang is a selfless man who wants to add value and is interested in the process, interested in relationships, interested in making sure that, as someone who I think also loves his parents so much. Are you the only child? Are you an only child?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, because,
Closest
to
them. Yeah.
Closest to them. Yeah. All right. I mean, after they sent you abroad for 10 years, you have to be close to them.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. So, but professionally, you are an oil and gas expert.
Absolutely.
Okay. So your core discipline is
every day.
day.
Yeah, I do oil and gas policies and all of that. Yeah.
Policies.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So give us a background of your resume in the oil and gas sector, and then let's talk about what should be the appropriate, formula for not, excuse me to say, not cutting our necks just because we want to fuel our cars and, all those.
Okay. My resume in oil and gas has been sort of, the background has been one that focuses more on value and less on the length of time. The whole story started when when I got into the oil and gas space. I was told that for you to do certain things, even to start presenting papers, you have to have worked for 10, 15 years. And I remember asking my boss, I said, is it about, what if I have been turning boats for 15 years? Would that class compared to someone who is solving some more serious problems? And, that really got everyone thinking. So when people were thinking, oh, I have to get to this level, I have to have worked for 15 years, I was thinking, how do I quickly get through what I want to do, get all the requisite certifications, knowledge, so I can speak and act on certain things. And, before you knew it, the second thing I want to say is about how you position yourself.
Okay, positioning, yeah.
The young people of today need to learn something, that whatever great man you've seen has gone through the cadet, no matter how much they make it feel that it's a magical thing. I remember the very day I published something online. I took a topic of interest in gas. I wrote about gas and the pathway for Nigeria. And I took some nuggets from someone who eventually became a mentor, but I knew him from far. And so when I picked those nuggets, I put it on my paper and I sent it to him. I said, sir, these nuggets are, I formulated them from your paper, your paper and the initiatives you do. So are they right? You know what he did next? He took the paper, looked at it, and forwarded it to someone. He said, I want this guy to present at the Nigerian International Energy Summit, at the where we have the ministerial session. The ministerial session is where we have Minister for Petroleum in all the African countries come together. And then he did that because he saw the passion within which I was speaking about the work he did. So he said, look, I'm tired of telling the story. I've seen someone that's written my work out very passionately. I want him to tell the story.
Who is this you're referring to? Okay.
Yeah, it's
your boss.
Yeah, it's a boss.
Okay.
Lord Voldemort, the one that should not be there.
Okay, my bad.
But then he took that, and the moment I got an email saying, you will be doing the keynote presentation. I've never presented any serious paper before. And guess what? I came into Abuja, and lo and behold, that was in 2020, February. That was Osibanjo in front of me, the former vice president.
Wow.
And then I looked at him, and it's like, oh yeah, we introduced Dr. Wisdom Enang. And I walked up to the podium looking like, what, this guy has set me up for failure. Definitely, I'm going to be talking rubbish. But the good thing is they gave me the platform. I spoke. Everyone appreciated what I brought to the value, but that was not the end. When we went out for a breakout session, there was the former Minister for Petroleum, there was Osibanjo on the other side. I wasn't asking them to take my CV and give me a job. That wasn't what I was saying. Because if you were tempted to do that, you would devalue yourself.
Wow.
What I did instead, what I changed tax, I called when the minister was there. I said, oh, I'm a young guy, quite young in the industry. I want to add value. This is just one of the things that I want to end up doing. Sir, I know you're a very busy man, but what is it that I can do presentations, I can present on energy topics, I can write a lot of papers. Do you think I can be of help to you? You know what happened? The Minister for Petroleum pulled his phone out and he said, can I have your number?
Wow.
And when he dialed me, immediately the guy that took me there said, which number did he give you? And I read out the number. He said, that is his most secret number. It's given to people like the president only.
Wow.
And not only that, he was the one that initiated calls after calls for me to present things, to prepare papers for him. Opportunity is one thing.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity. You could say it's providence and divinity.
Yeah.
But I also had the attitude to retain the opportunity.
Wow.
So I'm speaking, sometimes you see a young person and all they want is, oh, sir, please give me money. Sir, I have this problem. You almost want to hustle the person. You will irritate that person. Look for value, and when you have the right value attitude, that person will be running towards you.
The right value attitude.
Yes.
And you need to be able to, when you have the opportunity, make sure you present yourself well.
Correct.
All right.
So that's my story, and I built on that. Key mentorships were very key, and let me tell you something. One of the things that helped me was that I was very careful. People never knew. So this is one thing I want to tell people that are seeking for mentors. Your mentor, people that are seeking for mentors, your mentor isn't void of problem. He has a problem. Find out the problem that you can help him solve. Don't always go for solutions from your mentor and then feel that you only serve from them and they're empty and then you don't give back. There is something that you can give back. Search for that thing. That's very critical.
Wow.
So that was it. And so when my mentors were saying, oh, that is Dr. Enang, he's my mentee, he helps me a lot. Every mentor wanted me to be part of their story because I was adding value. I don't just go to someone, I support the governor today. And I do that because I believe, look, no matter how rich and influential you are, there is something I can help. There's absolutely something. So that was the way I deployed, and every mentor felt I'm gonna let this guy fly on my back. So when people were looking at timelines, I was breaking protocols.
Nice.
I didn't follow timelines.
And
today the difference is clear because now I'm flying on the backs of people, even on an international level. I'm flying, but the same style. I make sure there is an overwhelming and undeniable value that I add to them. I do not assume that they have everything because that's not true.
All right. Okay. So you're obviously, added value right now. You've given us some, motivational, some pep talk on how to, approach your helper. Approach your helper, but you need to go and offer help first. You see the strategy. Let me get that quote again.
Which one?
Let's get the quote about adding value to your mentor.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't remember exactly which one, but it's just don't assume that they don't need help. I mean, definitely be willing to add some value to them as well.
All right, be willing to add value to your mentor.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Wisdom Enang, thank you very much for stopping by, and just wish us luck. You know what we're doing here, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
The best.
Okay,
Thank
then.
you.
All right. When and if we can, we'll bring back Dr. Wisdom Enang. He is a delight to talk to. And yes, it was interesting getting to know him family-wise, and also his values. Yes. Add value. He wants to add value. You to go out there and add value. Well,